Welcome back to the deep dive. It's really good to have you with us again. Think of this space as, well, like coming home. A comfortable place where we can really talk about money openly and honestly. We're here to explore the insights you've gathered, connect those dots, and make sense of it all together. So relax, settle in, let's get started. Today, we're diving into something I think a lot of people, especially younger listeners, will really connect with: personal finance. Specifically, we're looking at this idea that, well, traditional budgeting, just plain budgeting, is kind of broken, particularly for Gen Z. Your research paints a really strong picture here. So our mission today is to unpack why that is. Why doesn't just budgeting seem to work for this generation? And more importantly, what does work? We'll explore this three-step mental framework your sources suggest is much more effective because it works with how we're wired, not against it. If you ever felt that cycle, you start a budget full of hope, you try really hard, and then boom, that wave of guilt hits when things inevitably go off track. This deep dive, it's definitely for you. It's for anyone who's stared at those app categories or spreadsheet rows and just felt this isn't me, this doesn't fit my life. The message coming through loud and clear from your research is, you're not broken, the system is. And we're going to get into why, using the insights you've shared. Actionable stuff. Let's start with the scene. I bet this will feel familiar based on the themes in your sources. Picture it, Sunday night. Weekend's over. That little hum of anxiety for the week starts up. Maybe you're sitting on your bed, phone screen lighting up the room. You open the budgeting app. You know the one. Maybe it looks friendly, colorful, gamified even. But that feeling in your chest, not so cheerful, and then you see it. Red notification, bright red. It says something like, over budget in restaurants by $87. And immediately, shame. Your mind starts racing, replaying the week, every single purchase flashing by, perceived failures. That lunch with a friend who was really going through it needed someone to listen. That was $25.
Yeah, but the app just logs restaurants, doesn't see friendship or support.
Exactly. Or that celebratory dinner after landing that big freelance gig, finally feeling some relief.
Another $40 logged as restaurants, not success or hard work paid off.
And the quick sandwich between your job and class because you were starving? No time. The rest.
Again, just restaurants, not survival or convenience or just life happening.
The app sees numbers, deficits. It doesn't see the context, the human moments, the why.
And in that moment, you just feel like you failed. It's heavy.
You might even think, why can't I just stick to this? What is wrong with me?
That disconnect is exactly what the sources are highlighting. It's a core problem.
You close the app. Maybe you even think about deleting it, just erasing that digital guilt trip.
It's not just one slip-up. It's that whole cycle. Hope, effort, guilt, again and again.
And it leads to financial fatigue, right? Just wanting to give up on the whole thing.
Absolutely. And if that sounds familiar to you listening, it's because it's a widespread experience documented in the research.
It really underscores the point. It's probably not a personal failing. It's a design flaw.
Yeah, you're a human trying to use a tool built for, like, a machine. It just doesn't compute. And what's really interesting is how this emotional burden, this cycle you're describing, connects to wider coping mechanisms. We're seeing this talked about a lot, especially with Gen Z. Things like, well, doom spending.
Doom spending. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, or sometimes it's called revenge spending. It's not just buying stuff for fun. It's more like spending on non-essentials as a way to cope, to deal with anxiety.
Anxiety about personal stuff or bigger things?
Both, really. Personal worries, but also huge societal issues. The economy, politics, climate change, things that feel totally overwhelming and out of your control. Spending becomes this small act of, reclaiming some agency, a release valve.
Okay, that makes a certain kind of sense. And how does that connect to budgeting?
Well, it ties into this fast or feast mentality that some of your sources mention.
Fast or feast? Like extreme saving than sudden spending?
Kind of, yeah. It's swinging between being super frugal, trying really hard to save, and then just giving up and spending, sort of like, what's the point? Or YOLO, you only live once.
And this isn't random. It's driven by something.
It's driven by deep, persistent economic uncertainty. Think about what Gen Z has grown up with. The fallout from the 2008 financial crisis, then COVID, now crazy inflation.
Right. Constant instability.
Exactly. So when long-term goals like buying a house or even retiring comfortably feel, well, almost impossible. Saving small amounts can feel futile. Like, what difference will this $20 really make in the grand scheme of things?
So you might as well enjoy the moment. Get some immediate joy.
That's the logic. As someone on Reddit apparently put it, if inflation is eating up your savings anyway, may as well spend it on shit you want.
Wow. That really highlights the feeling of helplessness that traditional budgeting just doesn't address. It feels punitive instead of helpful.
It does. It imposes rigidity on a life that feels anything but rigid or predictable.
So this fast or feast thing, it's a coping strategy. That's a crucial insight. To really grasp why just budgeting feels so off now, we need to look back, like your sources suggest, go back in time a bit.
Right, to when traditional budgeting was actually designed, mid-20th century.
Our grandparents' world, maybe great-grandparents, life looked different. Careers were often linear.
Very linear. You get a job, stay there for decades, predictable paycheck, often a pension at the end.
A stable rhythm. Predictable income, predictable expenses, more or less.
Exactly. And traditional budgeting was built for that world.
Like a financial assembly line, one source called it.
That's a great analogy. Input steady salary, output neat categories for fixed costs, allocate the rest. Repeat.
And it worked then because the financial world was more stable. The future felt more certain.
That's the ghost of budgets past your sources talk about. It still haunts us.
Okay, so crash back to today.
Yep.
To Gen Z's reality, does that assembly line sound like your life?
Not even close.
Right.
For most people in this generation, it's the total opposite.
We're in the era of the gig economy. Side hustles aren't a bonus. They're often essential.
Absolutely. Multiple income streams. Income isn't a steady river. It's like waves.
Yeah, a series of waves, I think one source said. Big project pays out 1 month. Next month, you're scrambling.
Totally. And careers aren't linear paths. They're fluid. People pivot, learn new skills constantly.
Job hopping isn't a failure. It's a strategy to actually get ahead financially when wages are stagnant.
Exactly. And the side hustles.
Yeah.
It's not just for extra cash sometimes. It's crucial diversification.
Like that example, Sarah. 23, skipped college, learned coding on YouTube, freelances.
Yeah. Earns maybe $3,000 a month, but it's completely variable. How do you fit that into a rigid monthly budget?
You can't. Not easily, anyway. It breaks the mold.
Completely. The foundation of traditional budgeting predictable income just isn't there for so many.
And it's not just the way money is earned. It's the economic pressure cooker they're in.
Oh, absolutely. The headwinds are intense.
Let's talk costs versus wages. Rent, up over 25% since 2019 in the U.S. That's huge.
Huge. And entry-level wages. Mostly flatlined, they haven't kept pace at all.
So even if you budget perfectly, the math just doesn't work sometimes. Your head's barely above water.
Right. It's not about discipline then. It's simple arithmetic. There's just not enough money to cover the rising costs.
And then there's the student loan debt, just crushing.
Unbelievably crushing. The average Gen Z borrower in 2023 had over $24,000 in debt.
And overall, what, $1.7 trillion in the U.S., with folks in their 20s and 30s averaging $30K to $50K?
That debt delays everything. Buying a house, starting a family, saving for retirement, it hangs over everything.
Which brings us to homeownership, the classic American dream. Feels more like a fantasy for many Gen Zers.
It really does. Median home price around $410,000.
Yeah, and Gen Z often guesses way lower, like $223,000 according to one source. That gap is massive.
It's a reality check. With stagnant wages and that debt burden, homeownership feels out of reach.
So they delay or just give up on the idea altogether. Renting, shared living, that becomes the norm.
Right. The old playbook just doesn't apply anymore. The milestones are shifting or disappearing.
So back to that doom spending idea from Reddit.
Yeah, it starts to sound less like a flaw and more like, well, a logical, if maybe unhealthy, response.
If inflation's wiping out savings and big goals feel impossible,
Then why deprive yourself now? Why meticulously save money that's losing value for a future that feels so uncertain?
may as well spend it on things I want now.
That's the sentiment. And while some might criticize spending on things like nice nails or whatever,
Yeah, I saw that mentioned. Personal care spending.
right. But it needs context. It's happening within these broader struggles. It's maybe about finding small joys, feeling good for a moment when everything else feels out of control, differing priorities.
Makes sense. And layering on to all this economic stress, the lack of financial education.
That's another critical piece. Many Gen Zers just didn't get taught this stuff in school.
Practical things like how interest rates work, credit scores, investing basics.
Nope. They graduate into this complex financial world totally unprepared.
But they want to learn, right? Like 84% crave financial literacy.
They do, but they often turn to parents who might also be struggling or whose knowledge is based on that older, outdated model.
So it's like being given a complex puzzle, told to solve it with the wrong tools, and you never got the instructions anyway.
Exactly. No wonder people feel inadequate or guilty. It's baked into the situation.
This really paints the picture. The old system wasn't designed for this reality. That's why just budgeting is broken.
Fundamentally broken. But it's not just the external economic factors. There's a deeper layer.
Okay.
It's about our brains, psychology, why traditional budgeting fights against our basic human nature.
Ah, the psychology of money aspect. Let's get into that.
Yeah, our brains are wired for survival, for immediate rewards, not really for spreadsheets and delayed gratification.
So what are the key mental roadblocks?
Okay, first big one, decision fatigue. Our brains have a limited daily battery for making choices.
Like a phone battery. Starts full, drains with use.
Precisely. Every choice, big or small, what to wear, what to eat, which email to answer, uses up that energy.
And traditional budgeting demands constant decisions.
Constantly. Can I afford this coffee? Is this groceries or eating out? Should I take the bus or Uber? Micro decision after micro decision.
All day long.
Yep. So by evening, your decision battery is low. And that's when impulse buys happen. You're just too mentally tired to resist or make another calculated choice.
The system itself sets you up for failure by exhausting your mental resources?
Pretty much.
Yes.
It requires a level of constant vigilance that's just not sustainable for most humans.
Okay, decision fatigue. What else?
Closely related is ego depletion. This is the idea that self-control is also a limited resource.
Like willpower.
Exactly. Every time you restrict yourself, say no to something you want, no latte, no new gadget, stick to the budget,
Yeah,
you're using up that willpower.
like holding a beach ball underwater.
Perfect analogy. You could do it for a while, maybe even a long while, but it takes constant effort. Eventually, your muscles get tired.
And then ball shoots up.
Shoots up with force. That's your I've been so good, I deserve this splurge moment. It's not a lack of discipline. It's a predictable psychological rebound.
Your brain basically rebels against too much restriction.
It does. It can't sustain constant denial indefinitely. We're not built that way.
Wow. That reframes splurging completely. It's not a moral failing. It's almost physics. Psychological physics.
Huh. Something like that. It's a natural response to unsustainable pressure.
Okay. Decision fatigue, ego depletion. What's the third big one?
The pleasure principle. This is maybe the most powerful. Our brains are fundamentally wired to seek immediate pleasure and avoid immediate pain.
An ancient survival thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our ancestors found berries. They ate them now. Didn't save them for a berry budget. Survival depended on seizing immediate rewards.
And budgeting often asks us to do the opposite. Delay gratification for a distant future reward.
Precisely. Save for retirement 40 years away. Pay down a huge debt slowly. That abstract future reward struggles to compete with the concrete, immediate pleasure of.
Pizza with friends tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or a weekend trip. Or those shoes you really want. The present is tangible. The distant future is abstract.
So budgeting systems that rely purely on delaying gratification are fighting our core evolutionary programming.
They really are.
Yeah.
It creates this constant internal conflict. And often, our well-being is the casualty.
So we're battling our own brain biology with a spreadsheet? No wonder it feels so hard.
It's a fundamental mismatch. And there's another layer to this cognitive puzzle.
Oh, great. What now?
It's called optimism bias. Our tendency to overestimate good things happening and underestimate bad things.
We think the future will be better than it might realistically be.
Generally, yes. And there's evidence it might be biologically built in. Helps us stay motivated, keep going.
Like neuroscientist Tali Sharot's work, it's a cognitive illusion that helps us function.
Right. Stops us from being paralyzed by constantly thinking about everything that could go wrong. It's useful, mostly.
Mostly. Where's the downside?
The downside comes when we apply it to things like retirement planning.
Ah, we get unrealistic.
Very. Look at the stats you found. Huge numbers of Gen Z and millennials planning to retire early, like before 65, even before 60 for some.
While actual retirement ages are going up.
Exactly. U.S. heading to 67, U.K. already there or going there. Big disconnect.
So optimism is good for morale, but bad for realistic long-term planning.
It can be costly, yes. Because reality often intrudes.
How so?
Look at involuntary early retirement. The studies show a huge percentage of people retire earlier than planned.
Not because they want to, but because they have to.
Largely, yes. Health problems are the biggest reason, almost half. Layoffs are another big chunk. Caregiving responsibilities, too.
So our optimistic plans often don't match the unpredictable reality of life.
Precisely. That's the high cost of over-optimism the material talks about. Our brains want the smooth path, but life throws curveballs.
Okay, so We have these powerful psychological forces, decision fatigue, ego depletion, pleasure principle, optimism bias working against traditional budgeting. And we have the harsh economic realities for Gen Z, unpredictable income, high costs, debt. How does this combination actually play out in their day-to-day money habits?
It leads directly to trends like soft saving.
Soft saving. What's that?
It's about prioritizing present well-being,
Mm-hmm.
comfort, reducing stress now, personal growth, mental health. It's a conscious balancing act.
So focusing more on living well today, maybe saving a bit less aggressively for the distant future?
That's the idea. Not abandoning the future entirely. Gen Z is participating in 401ks, especially with matches.
Right. They're not ignoring it completely.
No, but personal saving rates did hit a low point recently. And spending on things like hobbies, travel, entertainment has actually increased a bit since 2019.
But is that just frivolous spending or?
It seems more like a response to rising essential costs. If basics cost more, there's less left over. And the money that is left gets directed towards things that bring immediate joy and stress relief in a tough world.
They're intuitively trying to manage their well-being now because the future feels so uncertain.
Exactly. Working with their immediate needs, not constantly fighting them, which traditional budgeting demands.
The impact of this whole broken system is clear then. Guilt, anxiety, avoidance. Feeling bad about money means you stop engaging with it.
You avoid the apps, the bills pile up, shame builds a wall.
So how do we break down that wall? If the old way doesn't work, what's the alternative?
The answer isn't more rigidity, it's flexibility, a human-centered approach.
Not a new budget, but a different way of thinking, a mental framework.
Exactly. Built on awareness, compassion, not restriction.
Oh.
And it actually taps into stuff Gen Z is already doing.
Right, because it's easy to stereotype Gen Z as reckless spenders, but the data shows otherwise.
Absolutely. That NatWest survey, finding 69% of Gen Z budget, compared to only 42% of boomers. That's significant.
They budget because they have to. The economic conditions demand it. They're looking for solutions.
They really are. And interestingly, social media plays a huge role here.
Yeah, often blamed for fueling spending, but it has another side.
Definitely. It's also making them more cost-conscious and financially literate in some ways.
Through finfluencers, people sharing tips on TikTok and Instagram.
Yep. Promoting salary transparency, talking openly about investing early, making it less taboo.
Like loud budgeting. Just being open about financial limits.
Exactly. Normalizing saying, no, I can't afford that right now, without shame. And the data shows they're learning investing from reels, doing savings challenges.
It's not just learning, it's the transparency too. Those spend with me videos.
Right. Detailing every dollar. It builds accountability. And people share the slip-ups too.
It becomes a shared journey, not a secret shame. That's powerful.
It really is. A shift from private struggle to public learning.
And they're not just talking, they're creating their own methods, their own hacks. Digital natives innovating.
Totally. Taking old rules like 50-30-20 and making them visual, aesthetic. Using apps that feel good, that gamify it.
Like Notion dashboards or apps like WineIB or Good Budget that have vibes.
Making it engaging, but also going analog.
The cash stuffing.
Yeah.
With the pretty binders. I've seen those videos.
Yeah. It creates a real tangible connection to money that swiping a card doesn't. Hard limits.
And then the automated stuff too, like rounding up apps.
Acorns, Chime, Invisible Saving, and automating transfers right after payday. Pay yourself first.
Yep.
It's huge.
They're also turning FOMO into motivation, watching finfluencers celebrating wins in group chats.
Yeah, creating positive peer pressure. And using humor broke, but budgeting to make it less scary.
And redefining goals too, right? Prioritizing flexibility and experiences over just owning stuff like houses.
Exactly. Yep. Renting might be a conscious choice for flexibility, not just a necessity. It reflects different values, a focus on purpose.
They're incredibly resilient and innovative, actually, adapting constantly.
They are, which leads us perfectly into this three-step mental framework. It builds on these strengths.
Okay, let's break it down. This isn't about more rules, you said.
No, it's about designing a system that works with your brain, your life. Awareness over restriction.
Step 1, mindful money mapping. What's involved here?
Okay, this is foundational. Before you tell your money where to go, you need to understand where it wants to go naturally. What triggers spending?
So tracking spending, but with a twist.
Exactly. For 1 week, track what you spend and track the feeling behind it. Curiosity, not judgment.
So not just $5 coffee, but $5 coffee, felt tired, needed a boost.
Precisely. Or $30 takeout, stressed after work, wanted comfort, convenience. Or $50 concert ticket, wanted connection, fun with friends.
And doing this reveals patterns. Emotional triggers.
Big time. You might see you spend more when you're anxious, or maybe shopping gives you a feeling of control when life feels chaotic.
This isn't about creating new guilt categories, though.
Not at all. It's about creating your personal psychology of money map. Honest data about you.
So you can see, okay, I spend when I'm stressed. Not to beat yourself up, but to understand the trigger.
Exactly. Then you can compassionately ask, okay, next time I feel stressed, is there a less expensive or healthier way to cope? It builds self-awareness.
And this helps overcome things like optimism bias, too, by showing you your real spending habits, not just your idealized ones.
Perfectly put. It grounds your planning in reality, but with compassion. It's the crucial first step.
Okay, mindful mapping gives you the awareness. What's next?
Step 2, the flexible fund system. This is where we ditch the overwhelming microcategories.
Goodbye decision fatigue.
Exactly. Instead, just 3 simple flexible funds.
3 funds. Okay, what are they?
First, the life fund. This is your absolute bedrock, non-negotiables for survival and basic well-being.
Rent, utilities, core groceries, basic transport.
Yep. Calculate this first. What's the minimum you need to stay safe and functioning? Make sure that's covered, period. Security baseline.
Got it. Fund number 2.
The future fund. This is for future you. Savings, investments, debt repayment, goals.
Also non-negotiable.
The existence of it is non-negotiable. The amount might flex with income, but you always contribute something.
And the key here is automation.
Absolutely critical. Set up automatic transfers the day after payday. Even if it's just $20, pay yourself first, bypass the decision.
Leverages that tech savviness, turns a future goal into an immediate, automatic action.
Precisely. And within this future fund, using the right tools is key.
Like those accounts we talked about, HYSA, Roth IRA, 401k.
Yes, high-yield savings for emergency funds and short-term goals build that cushion. Roth IRA for tax-free growth, huge for young earners.
401k for the employer match-free money.
Definitely grab the match. HSAs if you qualify, amazing triple tax advantage. And a taxable brokerage for flexibility beyond retirement accounts.
So you're optimizing where that future fund money goes.
Right, making it work smarter. And using the right tools to get it there.
Micro-investing apps like Acorns for spare change.
Makes investing feel effortless. Robo-advisors like Betterment or Wealthfront for automated diversified portfolios.
Takes the guesswork out.
It does. And those AI-powered budgeting tools, Clio, Monarch, YNAB, for proactive analysis, not just tracking.
More like a financial coach in your pocket.
Exactly. Using tech to make future planning feel easy and intuitive, fighting that decision fatigue.
Okay, so Life Fund covers needs. Future Fund is automated for goals. What's the third fund?
This is the game changer. The flexible fund.
Okay.
Everything, literally everything left over after your life fund discovered and your future fund transfer is made goes into this one bucket.
Everything else.
Everything else.
Yeah.
And the rule is simple. You can spend it on absolutely anything you want, guilt-free.
Anything. Coffee, concerts, clothes, travel, dinners out.
Whatever brings you joy, enhances your present life. It all comes from this one fund.
How does that avoid the pitfalls of traditional budgeting?
It demolishes decision fatigue and ego depletion. No more agonizing over categories.
You just ask one question?
Is there money in my flexible fund? That's it. If yes, spend it. If no, wait or adjust.
It gives you freedom within a structure.
Exactly. It respects your brain's need for autonomy and immediate pleasure, but within boundaries, because your needs in future are already handled automatically.
You get to enjoy your money without the shame spiral.
Yes. Live your life. Embrace the pleasure principle in a managed way. No more feeling like a failure for buying a coffee.
That sounds revolutionary, actually. Simple, but powerful.
It is, and it leads perfectly into the final step.
Step 3, the weekly wins review, replacing the Sunday night spiral.
Totally. Instead of shame, it's about compassion and progress. 5 minutes once a week.
What do you do in those 5 minutes?
And ask yourself 2 key questions. First, what's one thing I did this week that made me feel good about my money?
Celebrating small victories, like automating that transfer, cooking at home, paying off a tiny debt.
Exactly. Acknowledge the progress, however small, builds positive reinforcement.
And the second question?
What's one small adjustment I can make for next week? Gentle course correction, not blame.
So not I failed because I overspent, but okay, flexible fund went fast. Next week, maybe one less takeout meal.
Precisely. It's about progress, not perfection. Shifting from conflict to compassionate curiosity.
Ties into that loud budgeting idea, too. Normalizing self-assessment without shame.
Building a sustainable, positive relationship with money. It's a journey.
Let's talk about that example, Maya, the Gen Z multi-hyphenate. Her story really illustrates this, doesn't it?
It really does. Tutor, writer, vintage seller, classic Gen Z income waves.
And traditional budgeting just made her feel awful. Constant failure, Sunday spirals.
Because her life didn't fit the rigid boxes.
But when she switched to this framework, step 1, mindful mapping.
Revealed her triggers. Coffee when lonely, takeout when drained. Awareness was key.
Step 2, flexible funds. She automated savings from each invoice payment.
Even small amounts. Took the decision away. Built her future fund consistently.
Nailed down her life fund costs first, creating that security baseline.
Crucial for variable income. Knowing the essentials are covered frees up so much mental energy.
And the flexible fund was the biggest shift.
Huge. Knowing everything left over was truly hers to spend, guilt-free, changed everything. Concerts, dinners, vintage finds. If the money was there, it was okay.
Even if the amount varied week to week.
Yep, control within the framework. No more agonizing over every little purchase.
And step 3, the weekly wins review, became self-compassion, not judgment.
Right. The transformation wasn't just financial, though that improved. It was her mindset.
Feeling in charge, calm, empowered, less guilt, more peace.
Exactly. Honoring her reality, her human needs within her financial system.
It really drives home the point. Financial success isn't about forcing yourself into a system that doesn't fit.
It's about awareness. Building something that honors your humanity, your unique life.
Understanding your personal psychology of money, that's the real tool.
It really is. Giving yourself grace, celebrating wins, designing a system where money serves you.
You're not a spreadsheet. You deserve a system built for a human.
Well said.
So as we wrap up, our invitation to you listening right now, become part of this conversation. Connect with us on social media or just take a quiet moment for yourself. Ask, which part of traditional budgeting always felt the most broken to you? The guilt, the categories, that feeling it just didn't fit. Sharing these experiences helps dismantle the shame around money. We learn from each other. We can prove there's a better, more compassionate path to financial freedom. Your voice matters here. Your participation helps us all grow. Thank you so much for sharing this time and your insightful sources with us today. Be kind to yourself and be kind to your money.